In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet this cute mini basket that can be decorated into any animal you like. You can store your pins or any small item inside. This video is for beginners at crocheting, which means you already know the basics but still need some help when making things. Before you start, make sure you already know how to chain, single crochet, and slip stitch. If you don't know how to do this, look in the description for some tutorial links. This video will be in all US crochet terms. I have my 5mm crochet hook to go with my acrylic worsted weight yarn. First, let's set up the yarn. I pull out the yarn from the middle. You might need to dig inside to find it, and the other end of the yarn is coming out from the side like usual. Now I have 2 strands of yarn. I'm going to hold these strands together and treat it as one strand of yarn. First, make a slip knot. I just made a loop and pull the yarn through. Once you have it, put your hook through the loop like so. Tighten it up. Now it's time to crochet. First, we're going to make a circular base. There will be 4 rounds. For the first round, start by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to make a ring. Slip stitch on the first chain. Just poke through the top of the chain, yarn over, and pull through both loops on the hook. That's our slip stitch. You should now have this little ring, which will be the foundation for a circle. Now we're going to single crochet inside the ring. You should see this center hole. Chain 1. Now make 8 single crochet inside the ring. Go through the hole in the center of the ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. That's our first single crochet. Make a total of 8. Go through the hole of the ring. That's 2. Keep the loose ends out of the way. Continue until you've made 8 single crochet. Now I'm on my final single crochet of this round. That's 8. This is how it should look like. Count the stitches on the side of the ring to make sure you have 8. Just count the V shapes. Now we're going to finish off this round. Find the first stitch of this round. It should be the one right next to the hook. Slip stitch to join. Poke through the loop and pull through. Now we're done with our first round. It should look like this. Moving on to the second round, start by chaining 1. We're going to make 2 single crochet in each stitch from round 1. So when you put 2 stitches in one hole, that's called an increase. We're going to do an increase in each stitch. So go through the first stitch. Make 2 single crochet. 1. Back in the same hole. 2. We've made 2 single crochet in the first stitch. Now we're going to keep doing this for the rest of the stitches. 2 single crochet in the next one. 1, 2. On to the next stitch. 1, back in the same hole. 2. On to the next stitch. 1, 2. Keep making an increase in each stitch until you reach the end of this round, back to where you started. I finished this round, so now we're going to slip stitch to close. Before we do that, make sure you count the stitches, and there should be 16 in total. Slip stitch to join on the second stitch from the hook. This is the first stitch we made of this round. Now we've completed round 2. Moving on to round 3, chain 1. We're going to repeat 1 increase and 1 single crochet. So 2 in this stitch, then 1 in the next. Poke through the first stitch of the previous round. Make 2 single crochet. 1, back in the same hole. 2. That's our increase. Moving on to the second stitch, make only 1 single crochet. We will repeat this until we reach the end. Next, make 2 single crochet in the same hole. Now 1 single crochet. Keep repeating the pattern of 2 and then 1. So the next ones will be 2, 1, 2, 1, all the way around. I finished round 3 with 24 single crochet in total. Count to make sure you have the right amount. Now we'll just slip stitch to join. This is the second stitch from the hook because it's the first one from this round. Yarn over and pull through both. Now we're done with round 3. Moving on to round 4, chain 1. This is optional, but it might help to use a stitch marker to mark where the round ended. This way we'll see when to stop the round and slip stitch to join. Just put it on the last stitch, which is the one next to this chain 1 that we just made. For the last round, we're going to repeat 1 increase and 5 separate single crochets. So it goes 2 in this one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to repeat that until the end of this round. Let's start at the first stitch from the hook. Make an increase, which is 2 single crochet in the same hole. 1, 2. Now we're going to make individual single crochets for the next 5 stitches. 1, onto the next, 2, onto the next, 3, onto the next, 4, onto the next, and 5. Now we're going to do an increase again. Make 2 single crochets in this next stitch. 1 and 2. Make 5 individual ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Keep repeating 1 increase and 5 single crochets. 2 in this one, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 in this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've reached the end and my last stitch is on the stitch marker. This is the 5th stitch of the repeated sequence. I'm just going to take the stitch marker off and make my final single crochet of this round. To finish off this round, we'll just slip stitch to join at the second stitch from the hook. Now we're done with the base. You should have 28 single crochet all the way around. Moving on to the walls of the basket. First, we're going to start curving upwards to create the walls. Turn your round over. We'll be working with the bad side facing up since it will be the inside of the basket. To start this round, chain 1. Now we're going to be working in the back loops only. You can see that each stitch has 2 loops. Go into the loop that's farthest from your body. Poke through 1 loop and make a single crochet. Remember to make 1 single crochet in each of the back loops of the stitches. This will make a curve that will start forming into a sidewall. Just make 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Keep doing this until you reach the end. Slip stitch to join at the second stitch from the hook. There should be the same amount of stitches as the previous round, which is 28 in total. Now chain 1. You can see that there's a bowl shape now. Lastly, we're going to continue building up the walls. All you have to do is 1 single crochet in each stitch from the previous round. Slip stitch to join and chain 1 at the end of each round. Keep building up rounds until you reach your desired height. Instead of doing single crochets for the round, I'm going to use a knit stitch. This is optional, you can just use single crochet to make the rounds instead. I'm using knit stitch because it creates a knitted look. Here's how to knit stitch. Instead of going through the top loop like we would do for a single crochet, we're going to go through this spot on the side of the loop. It's located right between the two top loops. We'll go through the V shape. Just poke directly through the middle and go to the other side. Make a single crochet. That's our knit stitch. The next stitches we'll go through are these ones. As you can see, these are below the top loops. Think of it like single crochet, except you insert the hook at the center of these posts. I'll show you again. You insert the hook in this post right in between the two loops on top. Go in between the V. When you poke through the back, you should go in between the two legs of the V. Finish the single crochet as normal. Now for a quiz. Can you tell which stitches to go into next? The answer is this one, and this one. If knit stitch is too difficult for you, you can totally just do single crochet instead. If you're following along with me, these are the next stitches to go through. Make one knit stitch for each. I'm inserting my hook in the space right in between this V shape. Poke through to the other side right in between the two legs of the V shape. Now make a regular single crochet. Keep going until you reach the end of this round. Knit stitch is a lot tighter than single crochet, so make sure you loosen up your tension by pulling up the loop on your hook every time you make a stitch. This will make it easier to poke through the stitches on the next round and will keep the tension less tight. Whether you're doing single crochet or knit stitch, both of them need to slip stitch and chain 1 at the end of each round. You should have a total of 28 stitches each round. Don't forget to use a stitch marker if you need help seeing where each round ends. As you can see, knit stitch creates this knitted pattern that has V-shaped stitches. Keep making rounds like this until you build up height. I'm now on the last few stitches of this basket. I built up about 11 rounds in total, but you can make it higher or lower to your own liking. I think this is a good height. I'll just finish up these last few stitches. To finish the round, make a slip stitch on the second stitch from the hook. This is how the basket looks like. It looks smoother than single crochet. Now I'll just fasten off. Remove your hook, cut off the loop, and pull off the excess. Pull the loose ends to tighten it. Now I'll just weave it into the basket. Use your crochet hook to poke through a random spot from the inside and pull the loose ends through. Keep doing that back and forth. Go in and out like a weaving. It doesn't matter where you put it, it just needs to be secure and the loose ends need to end up on the inside of the basket. Secure the loose ends by slipping your hook under a random loop and pulling the loose ends under. I'm going to be turning this into a seal, so I'm using some blue thread for the snout. I recommend using yarn instead of thread because the thread is very stringy and it causes me a lot of problems. I double up the thread to make it thicker. To make the snout, we're going to make a magic circle. Lay the yarn across your finger like this. Wrap the string to create an X shape. Secure it in the back. With your crochet hook, go under the first loop and grab the second one. Pull it through. Now you have a magic circle. Take the ring off your finger while holding it tightly. It's not secured yet. As you can see, there's a ring and a loose end at the bottom. Slip the ring back on your finger. Pull to adjust it to the right size. You don't want it to be too tight because we're going to be working on this. Once you've adjusted it, chain 1. Next, we're going to make 6 single crochet inside the ring. Go to the center of the ring and single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and 6. You should have 6 single crochet on the ring like this. Now find the loose end of the ring. Pull it very tightly to make a magic circle. To close the circle, slip stitch on the first stitch of this round. Now we've completed the magic circle. Next we're going to build up the circle to make it larger. Make 1 single crochet, then an increase in the next stitch. So it goes 1 and then 2. 1, 2. Make 1 single crochet in the first stitch. Now make 2 single crochet in the next stitch. One, and 2. Now make 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Keep repeating this pattern all the way around. Now I'm at the end and I have 9 stitches in total all the way around. Slip stitch in the second stitch from the hook. Now just fasten off, and that's a circle for the snout. I forgot to record it, but I took some black embroidery thread and I tied a knot at the end. I just threaded my sewing needle and I'm embroidering the mouth and nose of the seal. I don't really have an exact method for this. I just did whatever to make it look like a mouth and nose. First I'm making the nose. Try to make the nose a small upside down triangle shape. Alternate between poking to the front and the back. For the mouth, I just made one line by poking it to the front and connecting it to the nose. I'm doubling up the line because I want it to be easier to see. Now I'm making the lines for the corners of the mouth. I just poked through the front and went back down to create a line connecting to the other line I just made. And that's the finished snout. Cut off the excess and tie several knots with the loose ends of the string to secure them. I forgot to record the eyes, but it's very similar to the snout. Just make a magic circle and make 4 single crochet inside the ring and pull it close. Then slip stitch on the first chain to join. Hopefully you already know how to do this after making the snout. Before we attach them, make sure to tie knots with all the loose threads and cut off the excess. Now we're going to attach the pieces. Take the same color string as the snout and tie a knot at the end of the string. Thread your needle. Position the snout in the middle of the basket. Start out from the back and poke through one of the loops on the edges of the snout. Keep working from front to back and poke through all the edges of the circle. Tuck in the loose ends under the snout so that it won't be visible. Keep sewing all around the edges and make sure to end up on the inside of the basket. Once you're on the inside, we're going to secure it by making a knot. Use your crochet hook to slip under a random loop. Pull the loose ends of the thread through. Go back through the same loop and pull the thread back around the loop. There should be a small loop formed. Pull that loop out to loosen it. Now just pull the loose ends through that loop to create a knot. Cut off the excess. Do the same for the eyes. This time I'm using a black thread to match the color. Make the knot just like before. I've attached both eyes and now all we need to do is make the whiskers. Tie a knot at the end of the thread and thread it to your needle. Start from the back and make 2 lines coming from a point, like a triangle. Try to make the whiskers the same distance from the snout on both sides so that it's symmetrical. Now just tie a knot in the back and cut off the excess. I'm scribbling some chalk pastel on a piece of paper and using a brush to apply the powder and make it look like the blush. This is totally optional, but I think it looks cuter. And that's it. Please give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.